Hi everyone, and in this video it's going to be slightly different. I'm not actually shaving, but I've been asked to do this sort of video for a long time by many people, and it's a comparison of different razors. I get two in particular, but I'm going to compare four because they're quite, they're good razors. There's two which are aggressive and two which are not. So two sort of higher end razors against two of the standard basic razors really, and it should help people in deciding what they're going to use or what's best for them. Now, as you all know, I'm no expert at this, and this is my own personal opinion upon these razors I'm going to show you now. And everything I talk about is from my own experience in using them, because I have used each razor which I'm talking about. So I'll show you the four razors now. Okay then, here are the four razors. And we'll start, these two are the mild razors, and this is the Wilkinson Sword Classic. This is the Boots razor, which I'm sure is based or copied on the 7 o'clock razor. And this one is the Merkur Future, and this is the Muhle R41, or the Mühle R41. And those two are the aggressive razors. So I've been asked more so to compare a mild and an aggressive razor, and this is the Wilkinson Sword Classic razor. It's a plastic razor, but it has, if you can see in the handle, metal, so it's quite a weight to it. It's a 3-piece non-adjustable razor, and I'll undo it for you. You can twist the handle. Oh, it's a two-piece razor, and that's plastic, the head, and there's the razor itself. So you place the blade. I've got a second-hand blade here, which I will use for demonstration purposes, the Wilkinson sword blade. You place the blade on there, and then simply and carefully, because it's a plastic thread and you don't want to cross thread it. There we go. And that's it, you can see the blade there. Now that's a very mild razor. I'll bring it to the camera. As you can see, there's not much blade exposure, but it's a good beginner's razor, and it does give a good shave, even to those who regularly use different razors. I use this. I'm very pleased with it. Now the only thing with this type of razor, in order for it to work properly, in my opinion, is it has to be cleaned regularly during shaving. Because there's a very small gap there between the blade and the razor, it can get clogged up. So it has to be rinsed under the tap or whatever during shaving, and that'll give you a good clear shave really. And that is the Wilkinson Sword Classic. Now we'll go over to the Merkur Future, and that's the Merkur Future, as you can see. And this again is a 2-piece razor. It is adjustable. If you look, there we go, you can see the numbers there, and it goes from 1, 3, and then if you see between 3 and 4 there's a dot, so it goes 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, and up to the most aggressive setting, number 6. And this is a 2-piece razor. You've seen me use this many times. One of my favourite razors. That's what it looks like with the head off. This is brushed steel version, and as I say, if you want to adjust it, there's a mark on the head there, and it's on number 1 at the moment. But what you would do is you would move it over to whatever setting you want. Number 3, you know, up to number 4, up to number 6, whatever you want it. And very heavy razor. A lot of people are shocked at the weight of this when they first have it. And of course, me personally, I'll just take that blade out of here, being very careful. Shouldn't hold it like that really. How I put this blade together, some people place it on there, but I don't do that myself. It's probably the safest way of doing it, but this is how I do it myself. I place it carefully on the top there. There we go. And then I just click, it just clicks on them two buttons there. It just clicks on like that. You see that? That's how that works. And if you look closely at this, you'll see a big difference in the gap. You can see the gap there, the blade exposure. Maybe it's better if I move my arm out the way, like that. Now, if I put this on its mildest setting, which is number 1, as you can see, it's still quite an aggressive razor. See the gap? And you don't need to clean this razor as much during a shave, because there's plenty of gaps there for the soap and everything to escape. But it's a good idea to clean it anyway, out of habit. But as you can see, there's the blade, and that's on its mildest setting. If I put it up to its maximum, most aggressive setting, which is number 6, you may not be able to tell much difference, but there is, believe me, there's a big gap there. That's an aggressive razor. There you go. But compared the Merkur Future, recently I've just been asked actually to compare the Merkur Future to the Wilkinson Sword Classic. There is no comparison in my opinion. This, for a start, is a non-adjustable, very mild razor, and if you can see the gap there, if it focuses on the blade, or maybe not. Oh, there we are, when to focus then. There. Well, there's no blade in it at the moment. And compared to this, I mean, this is an adjustable razor. You can see the gap there. So the bigger the gap, the more aggressive the razor is. This is lightweight, this is heavyweight, non-adjustable, adjustable. Now this one, even on the mildest setting of number 1, compared to if you were used to using this, would seem very, very aggressive, and it takes time to get used to it. And maybe if you're coming from this razor up to this, I mean, you're spending about £50–60 on one of these new, and I would say you have to be slightly experienced in shaving, DE shaving. If you've used one of these for years and you're thinking, I'd like to use one of these, you will notice a big difference, and you have to, you know, you shouldn't be using any pressure whatsoever. Concentration must be 100% in the beginning until you get used to it, because it will seem very aggressive when you first have it, even on setting number 1. Some people take to it straight away. I did, and I loved it. A happy setting for me is number 3 or 4. I'm very happy with that. But compared to this, this is very aggressive, and I'm not saying people shouldn't buy it, but if you're new to shaving, get used to one of these first and work your way up to this if you like this way of shaving, and because it is a lot of money to spend You know, if you're not going to keep it up or you're not happy with this way of shaving, it's a lot of money wasted really. But if you use one of these, or in fact this, I'll show you this one in a minute, the Boots version of the one of their basic razors. If you're used to using one of them, and coming up to this is a big step. But if you enjoy shaving and you want something slightly more aggressive, then yes, I would go for this. Maybe the Edwin Jagger DE89, which I didn't bring here, but this is the second sort of mild razor. It's Boots the Chemist, has a metal threaded top on the handle, plastic handle, and a 3-piece razor. There you go, there's the head, the top, and the blade cover. And what you do is you place your blade, well, I'll do it for you, just bear with me. And take the blade out of the Merkur Future, popped out then itself, very carefully, and place that on top of there, on the head. I mean, you can do it all sorts of ways. And then basically, very carefully, screw it together. There we go. Now this one, the blade, I don't know if you can see this, but the blade does slightly, see on the edges, quite exposed. So you have to be careful with this. A non-expensive razor, quite lightweight. The head is heavy, it's a bit top heavy, but once you get used to it, it's a good razor. As you can see, it's the chrome finish on it, and non-adjustable again, and you can see the gap there. I would say this is slightly more aggressive than the Wilkinson Sword Classic. So they're both classed as mild razors, or entry-level razors in my case, in my opinion. But I would say this is the mildest. This would be next to it. It's slightly more aggressive. There's just slightly more blade exposure if it focuses. There we go. Just slightly more blade exposure there. I don't know if you can see this, but maybe. There you go. And that's the two non-adjustable 3-piece razor, 2-piece razor, and those two are the mildest, I would say. Now comparing the Merkur Future to the Muhle R41, and this is a sort of semi-open comb razor, and this is very aggressive. I wouldn't go with this as a beginner unless you're suicidal or something. Now this is a fantastic, beautiful, quality built razor. As you can see, the handle, beautiful grip on it, and the edge there, chrome finish, beautiful. Look at the camera there. Semi-open comb. And this one, this again is a 3-piece razor. Twist the handle, and that comes apart like that. And of course you pop your blade onto there, which I'll show you, because I can show you then the aggression or the gap in it. So if you get one of these Boots razors, which I must say I haven't seen for sale for a while in the chemists or the pharmacy, Boots, but there we go, there's the blade. As I say, I'm using a Wilkinson sword. It's a second-hand blade just for this demonstration really, and place that on. Very well built, this, very heavy, very good quality. And of course then just screw the until it's firm, hold it by the edges. There's no blade exposure on the edges of this, as you can see. However, it doesn't look very deceiving razor, this. You can just about see the blade there, see the edge of the blade, and you think, oh, it's not very exposed, it'll be a mild razor. How wrong you would be. Them open combs there expose the blade more than you think, and you can see that. If you actually seen this in real life, you would see that, and it's a very aggressive razor. So that's the Muhle R41. Now, another question I get is, what's the most aggressive, the Merkur Future or the Merkur Future or the R41? Well, they're both aggressive, and they've both got their own unique way, their own unique aggression, if you like. This is a non-adjustable razor, the R41, and it's, you know, it is very aggressive. Some people say it's the most aggressive razor you can get, but I'm not sure about that. But I would say, this is again my personal opinion, the Merkur Future, this one, against the R41, both very aggressive. However, I would say the Merkur Future on setting 6, its most aggressive setting, may have the slight, well, I don't know, very, very close to this. This on setting 6 is very, very close to this. Sometimes I feel the R41 has the edge and it's more aggressive, but I can use it again and I find this is slightly more aggressive. So it depends really. There's not much in it, in my opinion. They're both very aggressive, but some days this one's more aggressive and some days this one's just very, very near. But I suppose that depends on what blade you've got in them and what soap you're using and stuff like that, really. But that's the Merkur Future brushed steel. And if I do a size comparison, if you can see this, the Merkur Future is longer, as you can see there. And if you put the heads together, the Merkur again is slightly wider. So if I put that, yeah, you can see there. So this is a bigger and heavier razor, and this one is a heavy razor, but not as heavy in my opinion as the Merkur Future, and beautifully finished. Look at that. But these two I wouldn't suggest for someone who's beginning shaving this way, DE shaving, but these two I would. So in my opinion, the Wilkinson Sword Classic is the mildest, then the Boots razor, then the Merkur Future, and then the R41. Both aggressive razors and both mild razors. If the Edwin Jagger DE89 was here, then that would go there. So as it is here now, these 4 razors, that's my opinion on them. So there's my opinion on the 4 razors. The Wilkinson Sword Classic, the Boots razor, the Merkur Future and its many settings, and the Muhle R41. So I hope that's of help to some people if they're thinking of changing or upgrading their razors, and it's a question and questions I've received many, many times. So yeah, I hope that's been of help to someone. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.